Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. This week we have Keith Kavanagh, who will lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we're going to open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Keith.
Thank you very much, Dan, and thank you for having me back amongst you this morning. The last time I was with you, we read lesson 93. The self you made is not the Son of God. Therefore, this self does not exist at all. And anything it seems to do and think means nothing. It is neither good nor bad. It is unreal and nothing more than that. And so the Course, more than anything else, wants to give us the message that we're not the self we think we are. We're something else. And so I wanted to read some more passages with you this morning. This is from the psychotherapy pamphlet, the introduction, paragraph 3. What he does not realize and needs to learn is that this self, which can attack and be attacked as well, is a concept he made up. Further, he cherishes it, defends it, and is sometimes even willing to sacrifice his life for it. For he regards it as himself. This self he sees as being acted on, reacting to external forces as they demand, and helpless midst the power of the world. And so again, Jesus is saying to us, this self you think you are is nothing. This one is from chapter 31, section 5, paragraph 2. A concept of the self is made by you. It bears no likeness to yourself at all. It is an idol, made to take the place of your reality as Son of God. The concept of the self the world would teach is not the thing that it appears to be. For it is made to serve two purposes, but one of which the mind can recognize. The first presents the face of innocence, the aspect acted on. It is this face that smiles and charms and even seems to love. It searches for companions, and it looks at times with pity on the suffering, and sometimes offers solace. It believes that it is good within an evil world. Well, I think that pretty much sums up all of us here today. We think we're good within an evil world. But that self we think is good doesn't exist. It is not the Son of God, and nothing it does or thinks means anything. So I wanted to read from lesson 303. Watch with me, angels. Watch with me today. Let all God's holy thoughts surround me, and be still with me while heaven's Son is born. Let earthly sounds be quiet, and the sights to which I'm accustomed disappear. Let Christ be welcomed where he is at home, and let him hear the sounds he understands and see but sights that show his Father's love. Let him no longer be a stranger here, for he is born in me today. Your Son is welcome, Father. He has come to save me from the evil self I made. He is the self that you have given me. He is but what I really am in truth. He is the Son you love above all things. He is myself as you created me. It is not Christ that can be crucified. Safe in your arms, let me receive your Son. So Jesus is telling us in the Course that we have two selves. There's the self that we made, the one we mostly think we are, and nothing it thinks or says means anything. And really, all the Course is teaching us is to identify with a different self. When I really started applying the Course in my life, it was after a very dark 8 years with a generalized anxiety disorder, where I had an absolutely awful physical and mental anxiety from the minute I got up in the morning until I could finally sleep from exhaustion at the end of the day. And after 8 years, I was finally ready to say to myself, there must be another way. And I really threw myself into a practice that Kenneth Wapnick taught. And the practice obviously is a metaphor for having your two selves present in any situation. And that way you're bringing the darkness to the light. You're bringing the darkness of the self you made to the light of the self that God created. You're bringing your wrong mind to your right mind. And the practice was to go through your day in the cinema with Jesus. You join with Jesus as a thought of perfect love in your mind. And up on the screen in front of you, you see the world, and you see your body, and you see the thoughts and doings and feelings of the body on the screen. And you let Jesus look at it with you. And you're bringing the darkness to the light. You're not fighting the darkness. You're not trying to shout it down. You're not trying to pretend it's not there. You're not trying to heal it. That's the Holy Spirit's job. Your job is to bring your two minds together. Your job is to bring the darkness to the light and let the light do its job of shining away illusions. And I did that practice for about 4 months, and I did it really, I was very committed to it, because this was kind of like my last ditch attempt. I was at my wit's end from the anxiety, and I was willing to throw myself into this practice. And around about 2 months into it, I started to notice that the background anxiety that had been ever present for 2 months had started to decline. It didn't happen when I was in the cinema the first time I did it. It didn't happen in the cinema the 20th time I did it, or the 50th or the 100th time I did it. But there was a cumulative effect of peace coming back into my mind in the background. And about 4 months into the practice, the anxiety was gone and it was never to return. And really what I learned from that practice was about these two selves. So when the anxiety would be present, I would join with Jesus as a thought of love in my mind. And I would say, but what does that in my wrong mind have to do with the me that's with Jesus? What does the anxiety have to do with the love and peace of the Holy Spirit in my mind? And I can't begin to tell you how it's transformed my entire life, that practice. And it's the practice I do every single day. So if I'm walking, or if I'm eating dinner, or if I'm talking to friends, I'm with Jesus. And I'm looking at the movie of what's happening. And when I'm making it real or having a reaction to it, I remind myself, what does it have to do with the me that's with Jesus? And when I do that, my movie character can be truly helpful in the dream with anyone he's with. And so I would recommend that practice to you, to give it a try. And key to the practice is understanding the self you think you are isn't real. But the you that can be non-judgmentally aware of your thoughts and feelings is not your thoughts and feelings. In the beginning, what you are is the awareness of your thoughts and feelings. And at some point on your journey, you're going to have an experience of your identity as awareness completely independent of thoughts and feelings. And I can't tell you the love that's waiting for you when you experience yourself in that way. And so in our meditation this morning, I'd like you to consider practicing being in the cinema with Jesus, because thoughts and feelings are going to come. And as they come, just say, what does it have to do with the love and peace in the cinema? Don't fight them. Let them be there, but have your right mind present. And so with that, I'll let Teresa ring her bell and we'll do our meditation together this morning.
Open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have 14 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off of mute. If you'd like to ask Keith a question or comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. John, take yourself off mute.
Well, thank you, Keith. That was an amazing experience I had in meditation. I mean, I decided to take your instructions to the letter. So I actually saw myself alongside Jesus getting into the back of the theatre, him in his long robes and hair, and me just dressed as I am now. And we sat there and it was full. And every time I had a thought, or I saw it come up on the screen, and he would start to giggle, and he'd nudge me, and then I started to giggle, and then before very long, we were both laughing, and the other members of the audience turned around and gave us, glares, as if to say whatever. And then it kept happening, and the next thought came up. We had another laugh and a giggle, and then eventually the whole theatre started laughing and giggling, and it was amazing. I mean, I've recently been really getting into believing that I am me, because I've had some physical challenges, and I've focused. Anyway, I won't go into all that. But what it did, it reminded me of that's actually what's happened on this journey. Because when I first made my changes, and I refused to jump in the ring with people close to me, sometimes family members or friends, when they got into it, I just didn't jump in the ring and join in. They got angry. They didn't like it. But then as the years have gone by, one by one, there's many of them have actually come on board and changed it. So it was so powerful. And I thank you so much, because I'm going to use that. And then, of course, the other thing was I started to laugh, in the middle of the meditation. And of course, I've got Annie beside me. She gave me a little nudge. Thinking that the next minute, she started to laugh. So it was a really fun time. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And of course, the cinema is a metaphor. It's really a metaphor for being able to stay awake in our mind with Jesus, as opposed to being unconscious in our thoughts, which are not our real thoughts. And so it's a metaphor, but that sounds like a beautiful experience. Someone's finally laughing at the tiny mad idea.
Jim, take yourself off mute.
Yes, thanks, Dan, and thank you, Keith. Yes, it was wonderful. And I think you started off by saying we believe that we're good in an evil world.
Yeah.
And of course, well, for me anyway, I find it quite easy actually to disidentify when things are going badly. I think, well, that's just the ego messing things up. But it's less easy for me anyway when things are going well. And basically, this character thinks it's doing well.
Yes.
If I'm successful in something, it's less easy for me to say, okay, this is just a character, nothing to do with me. So it was a good reminder of that. And I found it also very helpful in the meditation to view myself in the cinema, watching this play going on, this play of thoughts. So that's good. But the main thing I think was to be more vigilant when things are going well. And I tend to more easily think that, well, this is all me, rather than when things are going badly, when I think, well, this is ego.
Yes.
So it's a good reminder. So thanks for that, Keith.
Glad you got something out of it.
Lynn, take yourself off mute.
Yes, thank you, Keith. Like John, and I also envisaged myself sitting with Jesus in the cinema, but I noticed a bit of anxiety because I thought he's going to leave. It's boring, but as I gradually settled, what I did notice, was the body, the twinges, different twinges in the body. And then I started to wonder, well, what's this got to do with me, the love and peace in my mind, a love and peace of Jesus, with Jesus in my mind? Is that the expression?
Yeah.
And then I started to think, am I sort of supposed to try and detach from the body? So it kind of brought in a little bit of, oh, right, what am I supposed to be doing now? So I just wondered if you could sort of talk to that, really. If in meditation you notice, okay, I'm aware of the body now, I'm aware it's cold, I'm aware of a twinge. Is it just a case of, well, what's that got to do with the love of Jesus in my mind?
Yes.
Is that the answer?
It is. We're really learning to identify two selves, so we can know that in every moment we're a decision maker mind, and that we're making a choice. And we're not asked to disidentify with the body or anything like that. Don't do making any effort or trying. Straight away you're on the wrong path. What you want to do is an allowing. And I think it's really important to bear in mind, Jesus says, the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure, but it does require that you would have none that you would keep. So don't worry about any thoughts that come in, or any body identification that comes in, or anything that comes in. All you have to do is not want to keep it. You don't have to get rid of it. You don't have to have dissociated it. You don't have to have, only pure thoughts and not have any unholy thoughts, or have no fear. All we have to do is be prepared to say, yeah, okay, they're there, but I don't want them, and I'm prepared to look at them with Jesus. And I think that's the practice. So we definitely want to not have any trying going on whatsoever. We want to be an allowing. Because love doesn't oppose, which is really important. And I think ultimately where we're going with our realization is that, when I did have the anxiety, as Jesus says in the Course, what suffers is not part of me. Son of God can't suffer. So the me that's in the cinema can't suffer. And even for John, as he works with his health challenges, allow the health challenges to happen in the movie, but just be in touch with the part of your mind that knows it's all made up. That's all we want to do, and don't fight, your challenges with the health and the medicine and the doctors and everything. Don't fight any of that. That's what's happening in the movie. But just be there with Jesus, knowing the whole thing's made up, that what you are with him in the cinema is birthless and deathless. It can't be sick because it's not a body. And it's really just getting in touch with the Christ in us. Yeah. But don't worry about the mad part of it. We have a split mind. So there's going to be the crazy part of your mind that makes the world real and gets, angry and upset and, thinks it's going to make it happy and thinks it can make it unhappy. That's going to be there. That's your crazy. That's your wrong mind. Just have your right mind present with it at the same time. That's all we're asked to do. Bring the darkness to the light and let the light do its job. It's none of your business. Stay out of its way.
Thank you.
Teresa, take yourself off mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. That was wonderful. I want to watch this again. It was really good. Thank you. I was wondering, and I had a good still mind in the cinema, except I think ego was popping in, because I then wanted to hold Jesus' hand, like as though he was real or something. And then I also wanted to have some, what you have in cinemas, food.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Jesus started to throw it in his mouth, and I thought, oh dear, is my ego sabotaging this? I'm not too sure. Anyway, it made me smile. But I was also wondering, sometimes at nighttime, my mind often can be very, very busy, just as I'm going to sleep, and also just as I'm waking up, and it can be very distorted, really distorted. And I say a lot of beautiful words from the course, but I was thinking I might go off to sleep with that practice. I mean, what I'd really love is for that practice to come into my sleep, but I know I can't control all that, but
Funny you should say that. It happens in mine. Because as I wake up during the night, the first thing I do is go back to the cinema with Jesus. And even in my dreams, I find myself doing it. I've just done it for so long that it's just an automatic practice that I notice I'm not in the cinema and I go back. I'm thinking I'm the movie character, so I go back to being the witness. So yeah, with practice that will work. And again, you know, when I think that's a common experience, that your mind is racing most in the morning and at nighttime. And the one thing you never want to do is fight it. That's the crucial mistake, because the ego is what resists. Love doesn't oppose. And so all you ever want to do is bring that exactly as it's happening to the light in your mind. And so just be with the stillness and the silence in the cinema at the same time as the madness. That's all you do. And the light will dispel the madness, but don't fight the madness. So yeah, that's a crucial thing. Don't fight it. Don't try and change it. Don't try and shout it down. Just choose the thought of perfect love in your mind. Just be in the cinema and have that be there at the same time. Just bring the darkness to the light, but don't fight the darkness. That immediately we've left the light when we do that.
Anyone else? We have time for one more share. Annie, jump in there.
I just want to say I so enjoyed your wisdom today. You know, what wise, wonderful words. You've made me laugh. And Teresa, I think it's fine to hold. Jesus came along and took my hand today too. No problem. Because, you know, do you remember in the text, I don't know where it is in the text, but somewhere it says, don't forget, I am with you literally. I'm literally with you all the time, and you can take my hand at any time and I'll help you along. And I just so enjoyed it. I just so enjoyed today. Thank you. It was absolutely wonderful.
What a lovely thing. I'm so pleased you mentioned that. In the text, Jesus says, for we but see the journey from the point at which it ended, looking back, imagining we make it once again. Imagining we make it once again. Reviewing mentally what has gone by. So the truth is, you already are a field of unconditional, non-judgmental love outside of time and space. And you're looking at a movie of the world that's over, and an insane part of your mind imagines it's in it. But it's not, because the part of you that thinks it's in the movie doesn't exist. And so you're quite correct in the sense that we are always, and the cinema with Jesus is just a metaphor to get us back in touch with that truth. So the truth is, you are with Jesus all the time. You're just not aware of it. And so our practice of going back to the cinema is just bringing us back in touch with what's true. So that's wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Annie, for bringing that up.
Thank you.
And I have something in chat which says, words can't describe how powerful Keith's gifts were this morning. Christ definitely speaking to us through you this morning, Keith. Thank you so much.
Glad you got something good out of it.
And thank you, Keith. That was wonderful. I think we're going to have a crowded cinema. Beautiful. Take yourself off mute and show your appreciation.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
everyone.
Keith.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you, Keith.
enjoyable.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank
Very
you,
helpful.
everyone.
Love
Thank
you
you.
all.
Yeah, yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you very